Welcome back to Stream of Consciousness with Dan. Today's guest is someone whose music hit me in that perfect intersection of nostalgia and discovery. You know that feeling when you hear a band and instantly pick up the Green Day grit, the Blink 182 energy, and that little Midwest emo sparkle, but it's still completely its own thing? Well, that's what happened when I found the band Peanut Butter Sundae. Michael Saulnier is the voice and the mind behind a lot of that sound, and he's also got a solo folk project that shows a whole different side of his writing. I'm really excited to dig into all of it: the bilingual textures, the twinkly guitar riffs, the stories behind the songs, and the world he's building through his music. So let's drop the needle and dive in. All right, everyone, we are live with Stream of Consciousness with Dan. Today, I'm hanging out with Michael Saulnier, one of the forces behind Peanut Butter Sundae, a band that's been making real waves lately, including getting the call to open for Green Day at Festival d'été de Québec. We're talking riffs, roots, and the stories behind the sound he's building. Welcome to the podcast, Michael. How are you doing today?
I'm doing extremely well. How are you doing, Dan?
I am doing well for a Monday. I don't know what the weather's like up there, but it was about 56 today, so it was really nice here.
Here it snowed. It's been snowing for like 2 days straight, and
Yes.
the roads are just absolutely atrocious, and it's very cold.
Oh, geez. Well, I'm sorry to rub that in. Uh, but that's okay. Well, like I said, I'm super excited for our conversation. So, before we talk music, I just kind of want to start with where you came from, where you grew up, and just kind of paint the picture of young Michael.
Cool, man. Yeah. Well, once again, happy to be here, and I really appreciate you talking to me. And yeah, I'm looking forward to this conversation. So I'm from a small Acadian town in Clare, Nova Scotia, and it has about the population of probably somewhere between 6 and 8 thousand people.
Okay.
Pretty small.
Yeah.
You know, it's right beside the ocean, and fishing community is like pretty much the economic driver, I'd say. And you know, yeah, it's a good time. I enjoyed growing up there.
Well, would you say that you were surrounded obviously by a lot of like-minded individuals? Do you think that was beneficial for you? Or let's say you grew up, in more of a larger Canadian town like, Montreal or where you're at now in Ottawa. So
Mhm.
what did you really value about growing up in a small town?
Yeah, well, that's a good point, actually. I think what I valued the most, I mean, you're a kid. So like what values do you have when you're a young kid, you know? I
Right?
guess like
Yeah.
I I guess like looking back now, it's like uh I mean your podcast is called Stream of Consciousness. It's like when do you even enter that? At what
Hmm.
age?
Right. Yeah. That's a good
Let's
point.
say, yeah, I guess like I don't know, like as far as I can remember is probably I remember like my first day of like elementary school, like on the bus. I remember that, and it's like, yeah, I always got along with like my friends most of the time, and there are obviously some advantages to living in a small community. You have a more community. Um, like you drive on the road and like everybody waves to everybody because everybody knows everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, But I think growing up in that, it's like, I don't know, maybe in school, like we got more attention than if we were like a big school.
Hmm.
And maybe that's an example. Other than that, it was chill.
Well, yeah. So I grew up in a town of about like 45, 50,000. So it wasn't a huge town, but it also wasn't, a small town as well. So I did get to see a lot of, different ethnicities and religions and things
Mm,
like that. And I'm not saying anything's right or wrong. I just like to kind of have those conversations on how it shapes people because I think it really does shape, who you
yeah.
become. But
Yeah, I completely agree. That's actually a good point. Us, our community, like we have a bunch of Catholic churches, and like I, I was an altar boy growing up. That's so like I rang the
no,
bells, and
no, no way. I
yeah,
was too.
yes, sir.
Oh, that's awesome. That's so cool because I literally just had the associate pastor at the church that I grew up going to on
Cool.
the podcast. So that's so neat. That that's really cool. So would you say, and this is a little bit off script, but that's cool. Uh, was religion a big part of your life, would you say, or uh, did you just kind of
Yeah.
do it because you had to do it?
Well, I think those two are the same thing when you're young.
Yeah.
Like my grandma is still like very religious, and I went to Sunday school. I was an altar boy. I knew all the prayers. I sang in the choir. So it was I don't know, like what I did understand about, Christianity at that point was like when I would leave church, I was in a good mood, and that was enough
Mhm.
for me. I didn't really clue in or like click to like the whole God and Jesus thing too much. I was mostly just kind of there, like floating and like chilling. But like I get it now. I know that I'm, 29 years old. But at that time, I think it was just it was the norm. It's just like what you did. You went to church on Sundays,
Yeah.
and yeah. So if that shaped me in any way, I mean, I was afraid to be a bad boy and go to hell, that's for sure.
Yeah. No, that's great
Yeah.
because uh like I said, I had that pastor on and he had the exact same pretty much answer as you did, and he became a priest. And I think that's just kind of what you are as a kid. It's just, that's kind of what you do, and uh you can, grow more with it or you can fall away. There's no right or wrong answer, but I think it definitely grounds you as a child, at least. Like you said, you wanted to be a good person. And yeah, so that's really neat. I love that. So I know you're a huge anime guy.
Yeah, I love anime.
uh it's not necessarily my cup of tea, but I was watching the music video for Complique, and it was just gorgeous. It was beautifully done. I
Thank
absolutely
you.
loved it. So can you talk about kind of how you got into anime? Was it pretty young as a child, or how did you get into that?
What's the first anime I watched? Probably like I mean, everybody, at my age anyway, like we grew up with Beyblade, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!
Hmm.
Like those three classics. But like, I didn't even know that that was anime at that time. It's just cartoons. It's just like TV. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, Now, I watched a little bit of One Piece, a little bit of Hunter x Hunter. I watch Avatar: The Last Airbender once a year. It's been like 5 years. I really enjoy that show.
That's cool. Well, I love
Yeah,
that. I absolutely love that because my mom and dad left from my childhood home in Kansas and moved full time to Wisconsin, and she was kind of going through like all the stuff that she found in the basement that was sitting there, and like, Mom, did you find my Pokemon cards? Like, I want my Pokemon cards back, and she couldn't find them, and to this day, I don't know where they are. So if you come across a huge box of Pokemon cards, I will give you my address and please mail them to me because I miss them very much.
I'm convinced that like everybody's Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh cards. Like if you don't, keep them in the same binder and bring them with you all the time. They all just go in this one a vacuum of like a dark hole, and like no one knows where
Mhm.
they are. Isn't that
I'm so
wild?
mad. It is wild, and I'm a big dork to this day. Like I said, I'm not a huge like watching the anime stuff, but I will play Pokemon. I got a kind of like a Game Boy simulator,
Nice.
and so I've been playing Pokemon Ruby, Pokemon Sapphire, and I just absolutely love
Sick.
it. So you're always, I think, can always be a kid at heart with those kind of things. So I
I
love
think with
that.
everything, Dan. I think in life, in just like all the time, you have to be a kid at heart. That's like my golden rule.
Oh, I love that. That is a great golden rule. So, so can we talk about, we'll shift a little bit musically. You said sang in the choir at church. Was that your first musical experience, or did you have an instrument? Did you play piano or guitar, or kind of talk me through your first musical journey?
But yeah, I'm down to talk about Christianity and Pokemon cards as well. Like, I'm totally down. Yeah. So my first like musical journey, well, I'm from like a really big musical family. Like, my dad plays drums and a mandolin, and like pretty much all my cousins are also musicians as well. Our town is pretty musical. I think like, you know, almost everybody probably, I'd say probably honestly, three-quarters of the people in my hometown probably know like a little bit about how to play an instrument.
Well, that's
That's a
sweet.
statement.
That's sweet. Yeah.
Yeah. So me and my dad had gotten my brother a small acoustic guitar for Christmas when I would have been probably 5 and he would have been like 7. And then he didn't enjoy it, so I picked it up and then I just kind of learned all the chords
Mhm.
on the acoustic because he gave me like a chord book. And he's like, if you learn all the chords, I'll buy you an electric guitar. And then he got me an electric. And then he said, if you learn a couple scales, I'll get you a better electric. And then I had like an Epiphone Les Paul and it sounded
Yeah.
awesome. And then um I've just always like I've always played music. I don't really remember when I didn't.
Mhm.
It's kind of just like a big part of like I guess who I am for sure.
No, I completely agree, and it's in the best way. It's so addictive. So I'm not nearly as talented or successful as you are with my instrumentation. So I grew up playing piano probably from age 5, and started in band, and I think it was maybe fifth or sixth grade, something like that. And I learned the clarinet, and then picked up saxophone. I played marimba in the marching band in the pit. I In college I bought a crappy uh guitar off of the internet for like $129. I bought a ukulele. I just taught myself everything, and it's an addiction to just learn and to explore. Like, I don't know, like to me, I could pick up the ukulele and try to by ear play a song that you have written. You know what I mean? Like, to me, that's
Mm,
just so much fun.
mm.
And so now, yeah, I've played the mandolin. I can dabble with the banjo, the trumpet. Um, it's just addicting. And so, that's cool to hear that you had that growing up. Would you say you had a lot of formal training, or was a lot of it on your own?
So I think I took like maybe 3, 4 guitar lessons, and I don't know. I just kind of learned like with chords and us. A big part of like my ch childhood is like bluegrass music. So like
Oh, cool.
yeah, like I'm a big bluegrass guy. So like bluegrass. A lot of the songs, there's just really 3 chords.
Hmm.
So it's just kind of that's like how I started. And then as I learned, it's like obviously with YouTube, like you can learn how to build a house on YouTube. You know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
everything is on there to find. Um, so not really formal training. I took a couple of piano lessons also, but I forgot all of it. Um, I never took singing lessons. Actually, I think I took one because I kept losing my voice live because I was just screaming at the top of my
Yeah.
lungs, half hammered, and it's just like not smart.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
funny. Uh, Gosh, it's really funny because my sister just got engaged recently, and I'll be playing Pachelbel Canon in D on the piano as she walks down the aisle.
Damn, good luck with that, Dan.
So I am absolutely terrified. I've already started practicing trying to get that done. But seriously, I guess before we get into kind of your next step in life, do you think there's an instrument or does it matter to kind of gain a musical theory baseline? Because for me that was piano, and it every instrument I play now, I kind of see it through the piano. Does that make sense?
Well, I think, everybody wants that edge. And I think the piano is the edge. If you can start like with the piano as like your ground floor, like your baseline. I never really understood why. I think it's because like how you learn like what chords go with the other chords and like the integration of scales and just kind of like it's like you're looking at all the notes in front of you and
Hmm.
it's a good like a base of like theory. Whereas a guitar, I don't know, like you have six strings, you have a fretboard, you have a bunch of different uh positions that like you can put your fingers. I think it's just like it's not as clear to start, even though like I was never really good at piano. I don't
Hmm.
really know how people can like play two things at the same time with like each a different hand while like holding like the sustain pedal and like that just blows my mind. Like you do like the bass with
Yeah.
like your left and like the lead with the right. That stuff is like blows my mind. I'm like that is
Oh my gosh.
top lot, but that's top notch.
I don't even know what to say because I see people playing the guitar and like I can play the guitar. I'm not, I'm not freaking, I'm not Slash, I'm not Prince, but like I think what people can do on the guitar is so incredible, but I can sit down and just pick up a piano song like that. But yeah, I see you doing awesome guitar stuff and other people doing awesome guitar stuff. I'm like, how do you do that? And you really are kind of doing two things at once, though, because you're shaping the chord with your left hand and you're,
Hmm.
strumming with the right hand. So it kind of is similar, I guess. But
Yeah.
that's an interesting perspective when I hear a musician being like, I'm terrified of the piano.
Well, it's just I think also because like I take it for granted how like hard the guitar is because like I've always played. Y- it's like I don't remember a time where I didn't know how to play the guitar. So
Hmm.
it's like obviously it's easy for me to say like, "Yo, I look at a person playing the piano and I'm like, what the heck is going on?" Because like I can't do that, obviously.
Hmm.
So there's also that.
Oh, that is so. So you're right. So you've got your guitar stuff going on. Did you ever have a an album or a track that you first got or first heard and you were just like, yep, this is my music?
For sure. So when my brother and I were young, excuse me, our dad got us a boom box each with the Beach Boys, Endless Summer, and Synchronicity by the Police. So
Oh,
two
hell
albums.
yeah.
Yeah. So I think like I really remember King of Pain by the Police is like just a killer tune. But even before that, honestly, my aunt Gloria gave me a cassette when I was super young and it was Eric Carmen and Make Me Lose Control. I don't know if you've heard that one before.
I don't think I have.
It's like, turn the radio up for that sweet sound. Hold me close, never let me. Anyway, and I
Well,
just
I'll have to
jammed
put that
that.
on my Spotify queue right now. What was his name?
Put on, and then on your Spotify queue,
Oh,
you gotta
Eric
put on
Carmen.
Eric Carmen, Make Me Lose Control, dude.
Oh, I got it.
Crazy
Okay,
thing.
there we go. I got it. We're good.
Sweet. So I'd say like that song was like probably as far as I can like think of like the first song when I was like, yo, what's this? And then like obviously every single bluegrass song in the world because my dad just played it all the time. And then started getting into like I don't know, probably Green Day, American Idiot, All American Rejects. Um, yeah, that stuff
Oh,
afterwards.
I love that. So my first CD I got was The Young and the Hopeless by Good Charlotte,
Nice. Hell yeah.
which I just fell in love with. I mean, it's not the most technically proficient album in the world, but it doesn't need to be. And yeah, so I started with that, and it's really funny that you said All American Rejects because I also had what was their second album? Move Along. Is that the second album?
Oh yeah, that's the one I
Move
played until it broke.
Incredible. I had that one, and then their second album was also very good as well. But yeah, so that's really neat that so I guess I'm gonna segue into did you have a first
Hold on a
band?
second, Dan.
Oh, go ahead.
Actually, that's something I'd like to add. That small town I'm talking about of 6,000 people that I grew up in. Would you believe me if I told you that there's a guy in there, Horde, playing piano with the All American Rejects for years?
Oh, wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, crazy coincidence.
Oh my gosh, that is. Oh, yeah,
Yeah, so
oh, I might have to edit this out, but I had a major man crush on Tyson Ritter.
no, guaranteed, dude. You don't have to leave that in there and put me along with you.
Oh, that's great. So did you have a first band or like a crappy band that you know, in your basement or just kind of how did you start? I guess we're going to segue kind of how did you get to Peanut Butter Sunday? So did you have you know,
Hmm.
bands in high school or things like that?
So in middle school, I played in a band with my brother Thomas and my drummer now, Andre, who was like my childhood buddy, and we're in the same band right now. So it was like this band where that my brother was on the bass, I was on the guitar, and Andre was on the drums, and we just like write these like little instrumental like 2 minute just jams, and it was cool. And then in high school, uh, I hopped on drums, and my brother on the bass and vocals, alongside another one of my buddies, Jonah, was on the guitar, and we had a band. It was like I don't even know the genre, like French. I don't know, like rock, maybe like alternative, and it was cool. It was a lot of fun.
Mhm.
I was like the first, like probably uh, mashing ideas around and like forming songs and recording, and that was cool.
Well, and we're I guess also before we get too more deep into Peanut Butter Sunday, kind of talk about the language dynamic where you grew up because I'm not 100% really familiar with, you know, that area. Not trying to be
Mm.
ignorant, I just am not. So is it, I mean, did you grow up speaking French and then English on the side, or kind of just how that dynamic looked? Because I see a lot of both in your music.
Yeah. Um. So we at school, we go to a French school and we have an English course, and our like all of our classes are all in French, elementary and high school. But like us, it's like everything we watch, like all the TV, all the movies, it's all in English, mostly.
Mhm.
Me anyway. I grew up with. An English mom. So my mom, grew up in Boston actually.
Okay.
So she's American, and so like I've always like spoken, I'd say English more. I think I'm like more comfortable in English, but like I'm good in French as well, obviously. Our town, it's I'd say everyone, it's pretty much French Acadian everywhere you go, and then everybody kind of talks to people in French and English as well, I guess. And it's like a nice blend because like our language, it's like French with like a little bit of English like splashed in
Yeah.
with like our own made up like slang and terminology. It's like a big soup.
Well, it's a beautiful soup, and like I said, I hear it in your music.
It's
Um,
delicious.
it's just it reminds me. My wife and I went up to excuse me. My wife and I went up to Quebec. We visited Montreal for a couple of days, and then Quebec City for a couple of days, and it was an
Nice.
incredible experience. I tried to do my best French, and then they're like, "This guy's American. He has no idea what he's doing. I'm gonna switch to
Guaranteed.
English now."
Yeah.
So that was just really funny. So yeah, so let's talk the origins of Peanut Butter Sunday, how it got started, kind of where you met your bandmates, and yeah, just kind of the start of the journey.
Cool. So PBS formed during COVID when I moved into Norm's house. So Norm is the other half of the songwriting of the band, and like
Oh, okay.
you and Norm would get along because he knows like all of the bands that you mentioned earlier. Like all like the classic bands. They're like he's a nerd about that as well.
Yeah.
He loves it. Um, I moved in with Norm, and I was actually recording a folk album with him, a solo project folk album, and it just didn't really form. I think something happened with like his laptop or something. Anyway, and like he would always like put on at night, like Alexis on Fire, and he'd put Save the Day, and he'd put um, you know, all those like the bands that like he grew up with, and like I knew Green Day obviously, and All American Rejects. Um, what else? Oh, I really enjoy Weezer as well. I'm a big Weezer fan.
Right, here
And
we
like,
go. We
yeah,
we could have a
here we
whole
go.
podcast about Weezer.
No, uh, I went to watch them in at Boston Calling, actually. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I saw them live here in Omaha, and oh man, it was he started playing Buddy Holly, and I looked like a little schoolgirl.
Guaranteed.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so that's kind of how the early stuff started. And do you think that kind of transitioned you? Obviously, you were a fan of Green Day, but a little bit more out of the bluegrass stuff into more of the punk rock scene, and just kind of talk about maybe that transformation a little bit.
I had a conversation with someone about this the other day, and it got pretty deep. So I'll try to touch on some of the points without, you know,
Mhm.
um, I've always been like trying everything I possibly can to like build up like how I'm gonna be like in the future. I guess it's like I'm like always trying to try new things, or like I'm just extremely open-minded, I guess. And then every once in a while, like I just kind of just throw myself into like these things and topics and like arts, and like I turn into like a chameleon. So it's like um I never wrote punk music before, or like I guess like kind of like guitar riffs. Like I've always like jammed like rock and punk and that, I guess. But like just living with Norm, and like he like he knew about that world. I was green. I didn't know like anything, right? And so like
Yeah.
I just kind of and like Blink, and then you get into like Boxcar Racer, and you're just like, what is this like world of just like this music and like these harmonies and these and the guitars are screaming and the drums are slamming, and yet like it just comes together so beautifully, and it's like, and the lyrics, like I'm all about the lyrics, right? And it's like
Right.
this this music is so good. And then I think we just kind of decided to just kind of put our own little twist on it with like the Acadian language, because I don't think there's another Acadian punk band out there unless I'm wrong. Anyway,
I
and
well, no, I wish there was because, and not that I don't love your
yeah.
band because I absolutely love it, but I'm like looking for others because like I just love music and I want to so
hmm
that's incredible that you kind of, I mean, founded almost a musical genre in a way.
Yeah, but like you have to be careful with that because like I don't know. Because like us in our hometown, I don't know the name of the band, but like in like the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, like it was like a pickup band as well. And they were more like not as like pop punk as we are, and
Hmm.
definitely like not with like a Midwest twist at all. But like I guess they would probably be like the first Acadian punk band, but I don't remember the name, and they're not a band anymore. But anyway, so definitely we're the only one that's playing right now. I'm pretty confident of that.
Well, I
Um,
mean, that's something to be proud of for sure. So I kind of wanted to get into the recording process. I want to get a little deeper because it actually might even help me on my podcast. So when
cool.
you're, recording and and the songwriting as well, do you usually start with lyrics first? Do you start with maybe a chord progression or a riff? Or how does kind of a song
Mm.
sprout and then bloom?
It's such a classic question. Like I've heard that so many times, and like I still don't.
Say you're
I,
saying I'm not unique. I'm not asking unique questions.
that's not what I mean at all. I'm saying like you'd think that like I could have like a clear and concise answer for that at by now, but like I always have a hard time answering that one, and it's because um I don't know. It's like sometimes I guess like if in the day I think of like words, I'll write them down and like kind of have like a flow with them. But like if I'm jamming on the guitar, it's like, well then it's like, is it the chicken or the egg that comes first? You know
Right.
what I mean?
No, yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
So for example, let's take Complique. How
hmm
did that song come about? And it's actually really interesting because you talk about how important lyrics are, and they are. And I don't know what you're saying on 99% of that song, but I can
Indeed.
still, but I can still feel it. And so like I use Google Translate and kind
Mm.
of got a little bit what you were talking about. So I guess walk through the songwriting process on that song because I think I could relate to that.
Cool. So that one, the new album has, okay, so I write half of the songs, and Norm writes the other half of them.
Mhm.
So like Compliqué is one of mine, and like I use for a lot of the songs on the album. I think all of the songs on the album that I wrote, yeah, actually, wow. I didn't even realize that, are like all in F9, open F9. And that's like, a classic like sparkly Midwest emo
Mhm.
tuning, where you can do like your little licks and your riffs, and it sounds really, really good. So like I was kind of experimenting with that. Um, and I just kind of wrote like the main melody. Actually, I wrote the part that went like first, and I'm like, oh wow, that's like really nice. And then I guess like I wrote the rest. I remember this one actually. I wrote all of the music first. And then the words, I'm like, okay, well, it obviously has to be cool. So I obviously just like wrote about a girl,
Hey, that's
telepathy,
classic punk rock.
classic.
Oh, well, and it's so if I recall on my research, you're talking about, you're just like you're getting out of the shower, but all you want to do is watch anime or something like that.
Mm,
Or can you kind of just
hmm
dumb it down for a stupid person from Omaha, Nebraska, what kind of that song's about?
Gladly. So it's saying, I guess, if I were to think about it, it's like I want to sing in the shower and wash my hair, dry myself off with a towel that's not old, um, visit something that makes me happy. Um, Holy cow, what's this? Anyway, I'm only in a good place when I watch anime. Um, I have a feeling that it's gonna be a long summer, and then the chorus is like, um, I'd like to have a boat to travel across the ocean, travel anywhere where I don't have to see you anymore. It's so hilarious in English.
Hey,
Um,
I loved it. That sounded like there'd be a ton
it's
of punk bands here in
it's relatable,
America
eh?
that could do that. Yeah. Oh, that's great. So I'm going to go off script really quick, and then we're going to talk touring.
Cool. Hell yeah.
So we're going to do Mount Rushmore of albums.
Oh man, on the spot. Okay, let me think.
I've been I've been dreaming about this because it's so fun having just such a incredibly talented person who sees music the way I do. So I'm gonna start and then we'll just alternate.
Okay, cool.
All right, so I'm gonna go Deja Intendu by Brand New.
Okay, sick. I don't even know what that is, Dan. I'm green as
Oh my
hell.
God. You need to
Yeah,
okay,
I'm just gonna be honest with
the
you.
second we stop recording, you need to listen to that album. Holy shnikes.
And what's it called? Schnikes?
Holy yeah. It's Deja Intendu, and it's by a band called Brand New, which is kind of a break off of Taking Back Sunday.
So like, if you would be talking to Norm right now, he'd be telling you about like every song on this album. Like, I'm sure.
Okay. Well, there's my number one. That's number one.
Okay, and you want me to give you one now?
Yep, you're up.
How many, how many heads are on Mount Rushmore?
Four.
Four or five? Okay, four. Cool.
I was just like,
Oh
wow,
man.
that was kind of stupid of me that you've probably never even seen Mount Rushmore.
Well, I've seen the pictures, but I've never been there.
All
Um,
right, here we go.
so I'm gonna go on a curveball that you're not gonna expect here, but I'm a big jazz guy.
Okay.
So I really enjoy like crooner jazz, like that old Ella Fitzgerald, Billie Holiday, all of them. So I'm gonna
Hmm.
go, I think it's 1956 Chet Baker Sings album.
I have to add that to my Spotify.
That whole album, man, front to back, every like I don't know October until like February, I have that on repeat. It's really really good. Awesome album.
Cool. Chet Baker's a legend.
Yeah.
And then again, I'm a super punk rock kid. Um, I'm actually going to go. It's a band called Jack's Mannequin. I'm not sure if you've heard of Jack's Mannequin before,
I have not.
but it's called Everything in Transit. He's a phenomenal pianist, and it's a beautiful album. So that's my number two.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. That sounds cool. I'm gonna do Pinkerton.
I'll allow that. I will definitely allow that. Does
I
that mean
figured
I
you
should
would.
do I have to go to the Blue album for the next one? Is that what I have to do?
if you want, yeah, that's a
Well,
great idea.
I might have to. That is a wonderful album, but I'm actually going to go and it's really embarrassing. I don't know the name of the album. I was listening to the song today. I'm a huge Mark Knopfler fan
Oh,
from
cool.
Dire Straits. Um, I think his album, um, Making Movies, is
Mm,
just gorgeous. I love that album. So I'm gonna go for that for my number three.
okay, my number three is one that I've been playing a lot recently, and it is Trail of Flowers by Sierra Ferrell.
Okay.
It's like a new, well, not really new, but she won a couple of Grammys for it recently, and it's like Americana at like its peak. It's just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful music. Songwriting's like 11 out of 10. It just rules.
I love it. And now I'm gonna go back. Gee, many Christmas. This is 52 years old now. This was the first vinyl I ever purchased. Crime of the Century by Supertramp.
Damn, that is old. Super Chat rules.
So it's funny. So my mom and dad's first official date, my dad took my mom to a Supertramp concert. And so my
Mhm.
dad's like, "Oh my God, this is gonna be awesome. You're gonna love it. It's Supertramp." My mom fell asleep during the concert, but
Take a look at my girlfriend. She's the only one I got, and she's sleeping.
oh gosh. But no, I love Supertramp. I forget the guy's name who plays that piano, but he's just ridiculously good. So
Yeah,
so
he
those
rules.
are my four. You got one more.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna do because I recently found this one again the other day, and I used to play it all the time. I'm gonna do Cody by Joyce Manor. You know who that is?
Oh, I do.
Yeah, yeah, that music rules.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, Joyce Manor is awesome.
Oh, Joyce Manor's good. I also like Boston Manor. I don't know if you've heard of Boston Manor,
I have not.
but well, I'm gonna have to talk to why am I forgetting his name? You've mentioned him like 100 times.
Norm.
Norm. I'm gonna have to talk to Norm and just we're just gonna have to talk music for like 10 hours straight.
Oh,
But
guaranteed.
so yeah, so before a quick break, I just kind of want to talk about what touring looks like because I feel like people don't realize how draining it is. I
Hmm.
mean, you're especially, you're not flying on private jets or having huge fancy RVs, like you are grinding your rear off. So
Hmm.
kind of just what does it look like?
Hard for us now. Harder than it was, I guess, because like, or maybe not. Like, I live in Ottawa, and the rest of the three band members live in Nova Scotia, and we primarily play in Quebec. So like, what we used to do is I'll hop in a Norm's a mom's caravan and we just drive just until Quebec and just like tour a bunch there. But since I moved to Ottawa 2 years ago, like we've been not playing as much just with like schedules and that and jobs and stuff. But yeah, definitely no private jets or RVs or tour buses, that's for sure. Thankfully with us, like we all get along pretty well. So like, it's just like tensions get high, like you're driving in a van for days and hours, and it's like everyone's tired. You just want to get to the B&B or the hotel, and if it's in the winters in Canada, like there's snow and ice,
Right.
and it's like it it can be nerve-wracking at nighttime, you don't know if you're gonna slam into a moose, you know. So it's like
Well, I don't know anything about mooses in Omaha, but um
yeah, good point.
but no, I just don't think they get enough credit and that's so like I love going to concerts. Omaha doesn't get a ton of uh s- smaller indie bands that I like. I don't like going to huge venues to those types of concerts. I like to go to small, intimate concerts. And I guess what I appreciate is when the band members at the end of the night go to the merch stand and sit there and talk with the, with the audience. I think that means so much because it's, as you said, it's a grind what you guys are doing, and
Mhm.
for them to just spend 2 minutes talking to me, like that means the world to me.
It's a
And
grind, man. It's a grind, but just talking about it, like there isn't a time when I'm happier than when I'm like on stage with a
mhm,
guitar and with uh, like my buddies there with me. You know what I mean? And it's like
yeah,
afterwards, and you're looking down at people who are there to hear songs that you wrote and that you guys are playing, and they don't know you. I don't know them. And then afterwards, you talk and you just it's just a human interaction at like its finest. You know what I mean? It's just like
no,
it's really hard to beat, and I think that's honestly, I think my favorite part about like the whole music game is probably like songwriting and like creating, but like that's a close second. It's like playing the songs that you wrote and just uh, meeting people. Like I've met so many people through music. It's crazy.
it's a universal language, like I said, even though I don't speak that language, I don't have a clue what you're singing about. You could say, Dan, you're an idiot in the song. I wouldn't know, but I
That's actually
like
what I'm working on right now.
great. I can't wait to be part of that. But seriously, and I would imagine just seeing your fans, singing along and just genuinely having a good time, being together. Uh, it has to be very rewarding.
It is, and I think it's something that it's easy to just play shows and like I've done a couple where you get there and you're tired and you just play and you want to pack up and leave and it's easy to like a couple weeks after you think you're like, I wish I would have like taken it all in a little more
Mhm.
and connected more, you know.
Yeah.
It's but it's the it's definitely rewarding for sure,
Well, that's
guaranteed.
life. I mean, you go to, your day job every day, and, sometimes you might not give it your all, and you look back and you're like, wow, I probably should have,
Hmm.
tried a little harder. So, oh, pardon the interruption, folks, but I have got to play you a little bit of one of my favorite tracks by Peanut Butter Sundae, Compliqué. I hope you enjoy, and please check them out on Spotify or wherever you listen to your music. Enjoy. We've got Michael with a segment he is super excited about. It is called Music Matchup. Music Mashup. Can't even keep a straight face. All right. So you have the task of blending a song from Green Day and Bon Iver. How would you put a song together in the PBS style?
I would start with locking in and and being extremely concentrated. And I would just like kind of just close my eyes and see how it would go. And then I put the guitar extremely loud and just try to be also vulnerable and emotional about it. And I would try to Like I told you earlier, Dan, I don't know a lot of Bon Iver. I'll be completely honest. Um, but could you like explain the music like briefly?
Yeah, so
Like, yeah.
it's very vulnerable. There's a lot of instrumentation, a lot of
Mm,
you can really feel the environment where he's recording. He records in Upper Wisconsin. You can just feel the almost the snowfall, or if it's in autumn,
mm,
you can see the leaves. It's very just picturesque the way he paints the picture. And he's got a lot of cool things where there's a lot of like snare drum going on. Uh, so I think it's actually a little easier than you would think. I think you could use a lot of the percussion from Bon Iver into a
mm.
Green Day song.
Well, look at that, Dan. It looks like we collabed on that one.
We did. Well, we've got even a harder one because
Okay.
I don't want to be a negative Nelly, but I am not the hugest fan of Taylor Swift.
Okay. Sweet.
But so we have a Taylor Swift song. I'm sure you've heard of Cruel Summer by Taylor Swift. I'm sure you've heard it on the radio at some point.
Maybe. I just don't like her older music. Uh, uh,
If you haven't heard it, that's just fine because that's even better.
okay.
But
Okay. Cool.
so just a Taylor Swift song with our common band favorite of Hot Mulligan.
Todd Mulligan, Taylor Swift. I think that would rule. I actually enjoy hearing that, first of all. That would be a crazy collab. But how I would do that, I guess I'd probably imagine a boyfriend I get along with, as
Mhm.
she does, obviously, and just scream in the microphone and just rip a guitar with like insane licks and just kind of scream about an imaginary boyfriend because they like that guy screams
Oh,
so
Tades. Yeah,
loud.
Tades does.
Yeah, man. Like that band is so good,
So
dude. Yeah,
do it like he
it's
is something else. No, but I
yeah.
actually like that. I think that would work because his lyrics are very personal. His song
Mm.
titles aren't very descriptive of what the songs are about necessarily, but when you listen to his lyrics, they are super personal and super powerful. So I think yeah, that would be actually kind of fun.
Yeah, it would be fun.
Yeah. And then so I know you're a big Dylan head.
Yeah, I'm a Dylan Ed.
So I'm not even going to give you the second one. I just want you to give me the artist
Mhm.
to collab with Bob Dylan.
Who I would
And
want,
don't say peanut butter sundae.
who I would like to collab with Bob Dylan. Damn. Well, I think we'd have to talk about Bob Dylan probably like not at this point in his life. I think
No,
we're
that's
gonna
fine.
have
We
to.
can go
Yeah,
back in
okay.
time. We can go back in time.
Yeah, let's go back in time there. I Because with Bob, it's like it's all about the lyrics, right? Like obviously
Hmm.
the voice is I enjoy the voice. That's why I'm a fan. But like the people who say that he can't sing, it's like I don't really have much of an argument to stand on. You know, he has an interesting voice, super unique. I love it. I think he sings well. Um, and there's always like those people, like Leonard Cohen as well. Like he's like a poet first and like a songwriter after. I feel like that's like normal. Um, collab, I'd like. Bob Dylan has like a couple, because he collaborated with like Johnny Cash a few times and Joni Mitchell as well. I think I'd like to hear more of Bob Dylan with some bluegrass artists because he collaborated with like Earl Scruggs, which is like a banjo player
Hmm.
from
No,
the
I
middle.
know, I know Earl. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, yeah. He has like East Virginia Blues with Earl Scruggs, which is a great Dylan tune. It's like a classic tune, like it's old, 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 but he did that with him. I'd like to hear Bob Dylan and Tony Rice because Tony Rice is like my all-time favorite bluegrass picker. Yeah, I'd really enjoy that. That'd be cool. I just like one of the best songwriters, Bob Dylan, in my opinion, with like well, one of the best like bluegrass pickers, I think would be a crazy combo.
But so I want to talk about kind of your other project under just your name. How do you balance that with kind of the vision of your band?
Mm. Yeah, so I have a project under Michael Saulnier as well, which is my name, and I had that one before the punk band. So I started that one, I think probably 2019, I'd say. I think my first
Hmm.
little EP came out at that time. And that one's a little more vulnerable. It's a little more, I can kind of, it's more me because, like, obviously, when you're in a band with four other people, like, you can't call all the shots, which is actually a blessing because then, like, the product you have is, like, truly a collaboration. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I enjoy that. But, like, writing in English, also, it's like, I'm just more comfortable in English. Not that I'm uncomfortable in French. It's just like, I don't know, I find the words easier. Um, and I guess the balance is like, well, I don't really play live with like my solo project much, but that will be changing soon. I'm going to be playing more and kind of expanding that catalog shortly. But I think like the balance, it's just actually it's funny. All of the earliest and even the new Peanut Butter Sunday songs, I wrote them and kind of charted them out acoustically, folky
Oh, cool.
first. Yeah. So that's like kind of how like I write. It's like I guess I found the words with like the acoustic guitar, and then like after I have like the chords and the words, I pull out the electric, and then like it turns punk after that. But I really find the sound and like the lyrics with the acoustic like first and foremost. It's just kind of like it's like a part of my body. I feel like it.
Yeah.
It's like personal and yeah. So there's that.
Yeah. So everyone, I encourage you to check that out because, as he said, it's very vulnerable. It's very real. It really is beautiful music. Not that Peanut Butter Sunday isn't, but it,
I
it's very
appreciate that.
different. And yeah, definitely check that out for sure. And I'll be sure to plug that in the episode description to make sure they can check you out.
Sweet.
So, looking ahead, as you said, you've got some big things going on. How would you, for a simple person like me or a simple fan, what is the best way to support you, either through your solo project or through your band? Is it just listening on Spotify? Is it buying merch? Is it social
Mhm.
media? What would you recommend? Because I really want to spread your message because I think your music is really, really cool.
Yeah, well, I really appreciate that, Dan, and it just goes to show, like you know, a random guy from Omaha, and I'm just a random guy from Ottawa, and for some reason we're having a conversation right now, and I think that has a value, It just proves that like that's what music does. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
I love that. So I guess like just yeah, like find us on Instagram, Peanut Butter Sunday Yeser is our name on Instagram. I'm on Instagram under Michael Saulnier, Spotify, just YouTube. It's like even if you just listen, if you reach out, if you follow, anything helps. Like just you know, I'm 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 the happiest when I guess like I know that people enjoy it, but like I'm the happiest writing it as well. I think first and foremost, like creating, and it's probably a good. Uh, it's hard to. I guess sometimes it's hard to create if no one's listening. I guess
Hmm.
is my point. It's like it's even though I would obviously because I can't help it, I don't have a choice. So I think yeah, the more people that listen, the cool yeah yeah you know my point here.
I know your point, and it's
You know what I'm getting at there, Danny.
I know what you're getting at, and it's I'm in the same boat. At some point, I'm obviously way less successful than you are, but just to get listens, just to get people talking about it, I think grassroots can be very powerful. Um, and I also just kind of wanted to ask if there were any other artists, maybe in your area, whether it's in Ottawa or where you're from in Nova Scotia, that people should check out because I'd love to shout them out as well to kind of just build the scene.
Yeah, I think if you literally there's a guy in our hometown called M Micah Vick. He's a really cool artist. Uh, uh, Petit Beliveau is like a classic one. He's and my buddy Jonah. He has a project. Two of the people in my band are also in his band. Uh, Jacques Suret is a good one as well. Kind of like folk country, I guess. And yeah, if you just search like any Acadian, French Acadian artists, like they're all good. Like there's just something to say about all of them, honestly. Sleuth as well. I think you'd really enjoy them. It's actually Trevor's band. Trevor, who you talk to, Acadian
Yeah.
Embassy.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So Sluice, Sluice. That's a great band. They rock and roll, and yeah, I guess that's yeah, all of it, man. I listen to everything.
I do as well. I mean, I'll sit here and listen to David Bowie, and then I'll listen to you, and then I'll listen to Hot Mulligan, and
Hell yeah.
I'll listen to, I'll listen to it all. But well, thanks so much for being here today. It was an absolute blast, and I wish you absolutely nothing but the best. And you've got a lot of cool stuff coming up. Your band is doing its thing, your solo project. I enjoyed the music very much, and I hope it can even, take off even further. So just keep creating, keep pushing, just keep rocking out. And to everyone listening, thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll see you next time.
Yeah, thank you very much.